Okay, so your teacher told you that you have to do forms for science fair, but you're like this. I have no idea what I'm doing. Don't worry, you came to the right place. I'm here for you, and I'm going to help you out. So here's what you're going to do. Well, before you start, there's some things that you need to know. Number one, the adult sponsor put a name. Anywhere in the forms where it asks you for an adult sponsor, you are going to write your teacher's name, their first name and their last name. You're going to type it for them, and you're going to try to fill out as much stuff as possible so that your teacher has less work to do because your teacher has to go through hundreds of forms. So if your teacher is me, you're going to write my name, my first name, my last name, and if you have some other teacher, you're going to write their name. So the adult sponsor is always your teacher's name. Don't write anything where it says for their signature, but if it asks for their printed name, make sure you do that. Then their email address. This would be my email address. Anywhere it asks for for the adult sponsor's email address, you're going to write that. This is the school phone number. This is our fax number, and here is our address. Okay, it says that you don't have to worry about anything where it says IRB/SRC. Your teacher will take care of that. And you don't have to do an abstract for now. We will talk about that another time if we have to do that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to click on this link. But before we do that, I highly suggest that you get a pencil and paper out right now because you're going to make some notes for yourself. So that you're just going to write down all the things that you have to do so that you're not doing too much work. Okay? Go get some pencil and paper. While you're doing that, I'm going to watch something weird. I'll watch this. Alright, yeah, so this will occupy me while you're going to get your pencil and paper. Hurry it up because I don't know how much more of this I can take. Are we there yet? Do you got your pencil and paper? Are we good? Alright, we're good. I'm going back. Let's start. Okay, so let's click on this link right here, or you can go to parklandsciencefair.org and you can find that there. But this is going to take you to a link that says forms on it. Alright, and all you're going to do is you're just going to scroll down. You can read the rules and guidelines on your own if you want to. Whatever. Now, there's two ways of doing this. You can either click on this link that says Interactive Intel ISF 2016 Forms, or whatever year it happens to be that you're watching this. Hopefully it's updated. Or you can click each form individually, depending on your project. For the point of this video, I'm just going to go through all of them. So let me click on this, and let's go. It's loading. Let's watch this guy. While it loads. He's still going. He don't stop. He don't stop. He can't stop. He won't stop. Did I freeze it? Did I break it? Oh, man, I just broke everything. This guy broke everything. Oh, man. This is just not good. Hold on. Let's try this. Let's never put that guy on again. Okay, here we go. Here we go. So everybody needs to do Form 1. Number 1, everybody has to do that. It says this form is required for all projects. So on your pencil, or with your pencil and on your paper, write down the number 1 because you have to do number 1. You're just going to type in your name here, the title of your project. The title of your project can be your question or it can be like a catchy little, clever little title that you come up with. Check off all these boxes that apply to you and check off this box, number 4, if any of these apply to you. So check all these. This is actually for me, and it's my list, so you're filling this out for me. But yeah, I've reviewed all these. But maybe you did, maybe you didn't, but I did. So anyway, check all these off. If your project pertains to any of these things, check it off. And then you can check off these. You're going to check off 1 and 1A and the research plan and 1B. Check all of these off. If you have to do 1C, we'll talk about that later. You can check that off, but for now, let's just leave it blank. And nobody's checking off Form 7. If you're doing anything with human subjects, check that off. Vertebrate animals, it's any kind of animal with a backbone, any kind of bird, fish, mammal, if you're using dogs or any reptiles or amphibians, that would be checked off also. If you're using anything that's potentially hazardous or dangerous, check that off. Any chemicals or whatever, check all that off. Okay, so here's where you're going to type my name or your teacher's name. Leave that part blank. Put today's date, phone number, that would be the school phone number that I showed you before, email address, whatever. Okay, Next form is Form 1A. Everybody write this down. Everybody has to do 1A. So on your paper, write down 1A. You're not working in a team, so don't worry about that teamwork, but you're going to write your name here, your grade, your email address or your parents' email address, your phone number. Don't worry, they won't call you. And skip the team members because we don't do this in teams. Same deal, all this again. The adult sponsor, again, is your teacher. They don't need pre-approval or anything like that. So your actual start date, if you haven't started your experiment yet, just pick a date that you think you're going to start and pick a date that you think you're going to finish. All right, maybe it'll finish the same day, maybe it'll finish a couple months from now. This really doesn't matter all that much, but fill that in. And then fill this out to the best of your ability. Okay? Okay. The research plan. This is something everybody has to do, so write research plan on your pencil, or with your pencil, and on your paper right now. Okay, the research plan, what you're going to do is you're going to start up a brand new Word document and you're at the top you're going to write research plan. So there's nothing to actually fill out on this form, but you're going to open up a new Word document, like down here, open it up, and you're going to have to do every little part of this. Okay, so this actually, you've done a lot of it. So fortunately for you, while you were crying about all the work that you had to do for Science Fair so far, fortunately, this is all going to come back and be good for you now. So most of this stuff you've already done, and what you can do in your Word document is you can just open up these documents that you've already done, copy them, and paste them over into your research plan. All right, so the rationale, so if I'm writing my research plan, I'm going to make a new heading, and I'm going to say rationale. Do what it tells you to. Just tell me about your project, tell me the background, give me a brief understanding of what your project is and your problem and why it's important to anyone, so benefits to society. That's all in your rationale. Your hypothesis, you've already done that, you've already turned it in, hopefully you saved it to your hard drive. Copy and paste it into your new research plan. So if I'm doing my research plan, I'm going to, at the top, I'm going to write something that says research plan, and then I'll say rationale, and then hypothesis, and then copy and paste, or paste your hypothesis. So, research plan, rationale, you're going to write a rationale here, hypothesis, you're going to paste your hypothesis that you've already done, etc. Alright? Let me go back to where I was. Do everything that it tells you to. You're going to have to paste your procedure, make a little heading that says risk and safety, and this is something new that you're going to have to type up. But if there's any kind of risk or any kind of safety precautions that you need to do that. Data analysis. This is where you're gonna copy your procedure of how you're going to analyze your results. So, sorry, you're not going to copy anything. You're just going to write down how you're going to get your results and how you're going to analyze your results. Okay? Basically, how you're going to collect your data. And then it says, discuss the data and results and the conclusions that can be drawn. Obviously, you haven't done your experiment yet, so you don't have to write your actual conclusions, but you're going to talk about how you're going to get your results and how you're going to write your conclusions. So maybe you're going to say, I'm going to do research on this particular topic, whatever, and then I'm going to get my conclusions by doing my experiment. The bibliography you've already done, so paste that into there. Okay, if you're doing anything with human subjects, answer all these questions. If you're doing anything with any kind of vertebrate animal, like we talked about before, do that. Do that. If you're doing anything hazardous, do this. So, sorry, biological agents, these are anything that comes from the human body or any kind of body. All right, so if you're using anything with blood or anything like that, it's potentially hazardous, then you would have to include something here. Any hazardous chemicals, so if you're using any kind of crazy chemicals, you would fill out this part right here. All right, and that's the research plan. Most of it is copied and pasted, but some of it you're going to have to write out. This is probably the only thing that will take you a whole lot of time. Everybody has to do 1B, so write down 1B on there. This actually isn't very much. you're just going to write your name. You're going to sign it after you printed this out, and then you're going to write the date. Type the date in here. Type your parents' name. Have them sign it after you type it out. Oops. And then, or after you print it out, sorry. And then put the date also. Okay, skip the rest of this. For 1C, this is only going to be for people who have to do it in another building. So if you're going to do it in a college or in a laboratory, or if you have to do it in your veterinarian's office, then you would fill out Form 1C only if you're doing that there. If you're doing it in some place other than the home or at school. Okay? You shouldn't be doing your experiment at school unless you got permission from your teacher. So everybody's doing their experiment at home, and most people won't have to do 1C unless you're doing a special project. Form 2, this is something that says if you're using human subjects or vertebrate animals or hazardous biological agents like blood or bone or tissue or anything like that, any kind of drug-related substances, whatever, then you would need a scientist to actually sign off on this and pre-approve your project. Not your teacher. Yes, your teacher is a scientist, but they are not qualified. Okay, so you have to actually go to the laboratory or go to a college or go to your veterinarian or whatever. If you need to do a form like that, if you're using any of these things, only then would you do Form 2. Alright, so far the only ones that are required are Form 1, 1A, 1B, and the research plan. 1C is optional, Form 2 is optional, and everything else here on out is just going to be optional only for those projects that require them. Okay? So have them fill this out, or actually you're gonna print this out, have them fill this out. Form 3, risk assessment. Again, if you're using any kind of crazy chemicals or anything dangerous or microorganisms that weren't pre-approved or whatever, you would do Form 3. Form 4 is for human subjects. You would type in student's name, title of your project, the adult sponsor again, their phone and email again, all that. Okay? Fill this. No, you're going to skip all this. This is for IRB use only, so you skip anything with the IRB. Now, the informed consent form, if you're using human subjects, you have to do this for your project also. Okay? So if you're doing human subjects, not only do you have to do Form 4, but you also have to do the human informed consent form. Fill that out. If you're using vertebrate animals, again, like I said, any kind of mammal, if it's a dog or a cat or whatever, a monkey, a seal, whatever, those are all vertebrate animals. Any mammal, any fish, any reptile, any bird, or any amphibian, you would have to fill out this form. Form B, if you're using a vertebrate animal and you're doing it in some kind of research institution, you would have to do 5B. If you're using any kind of biological agent, I talked about this before, anything involving any kind of tissue, be it blood or bodily fluids, like whatever, any kind of bone or DNA or anything like that, you would have to do potentially hazardous biological agents. Risk assessment form 6A, so you can write that down if you're using any of those things. Same deal here, 6B, yeah, same thing. And nobody's doing Form 7. It's a lot of work, right? Right now you're probably feeling a little bit like this. You're like, oh man, facepalm, so much work. But guess what? You're not done. There's still more stuff that you have to do if you're doing PJS or Penn State. So if you're doing PJS or Penn State, go back to my website. Can I go to my website? Can we do this? Here we go. If you're doing PJS, you need to click here, click on this link right here, and do all this. You have to do this, and you have to do that. And if you're doing Lehigh, you go over here, and you're going to click this and fill out whatever forms need to be filled out. All of these forms you're going to fill out online, then you're going to print them out, and then you're going to bring them to your teacher and hand them to your teacher. All right, I've got about 10 seconds left. Let's dance. No, that guy's gonna break us. Let's dance like this. Yeah. Hey, good luck. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck. Get inside. Good luck. Bye.